New update on Zay Flowers just dropped, and it's straight from the source like we all been waiting for, that being the Baltimore Ravens head coach, John Harbaugh. Team, keep it clean. We about to get into it. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn them notifications on, and leave a like on the video because it helps out a ton. Because this update, we hate the injury, but we like the fact that it's not season ending. So let's just get straight into it. So John Harbaugh, he was asked about it, of course, in his press conference that he did on Monday. And he started off by saying it was not a season ending injury, which is great news from the jump. But even better news, also straight from John Harbaugh, we had been hearing that this injury was a week-to-week injury, possibly a 2 to 3 week injury. But Harbaugh, he said, no. It's actually a day-to-day injury. Now, I already know what you're thinking. I already know you're like, oh, man, that dude Harbaugh, he's a liar. He just be talking. He just be saying stuff. Why did he even start off by saying it's not a season-ending injury? They probably done for the rest of the playoffs, right? Well, no, and I'm going to tell you why. John Harbaugh, if he would say something like that, I would be like, oh, no, Zay Flowers is done. That's a wrap. And I would have absolutely no hope because before, when John Harbaugh would speak on injuries, he would be lying straight through his teeth. He would say one thing when it was really something completely different. But recently, and we've been talking about this, let me know if y'all remember us saying this before, but recently, when John Harbaugh has spoken about injuries, he has been telling the 100% truth. I would talk about with Keith Mitchell. With Keith Mitchell, he talked about how they expected him to be back mid to late season. When did Keith Mitchell come back? Exactly. He talked Marcus Williams. That was a big one because Marcus Williams, they said he tore a muscle in his pec, I believe. And a lot of times that's a season-ending injury. John Harbaugh said, nope, it's not going to be a season-ending injury. Marcus Williams should be back for us. And I was like, from a torn pec? No, that puts dudes out for the whole season. And he was like, no, Marcus Williams is going to rehab. He's not going to have surgery, and he's going to come back later on. What happened? Marcus Williams came back later on. And there's been a lot more where Harbaugh has let us know exactly what it is recently, over the past 2 and 3 years for sure. A lot where he let us know recently, and there's more that I just can't remember off the top of my head, but I definitely know that Harbaugh has been letting us know the truth about these guys in the past couple of years. So I have no reason to doubt what John Harbaugh is saying about Zay Flowers with it being a day-to-day injury instead of a week-to-week. So while we still think it's an outside version of it, but there is still a chance that Zay Flowers plays in this game. I'm not expecting it. I know you're not expecting it. I don't think we should expect it. But for this injury to be considered a day-to-day injury instead of a week-to-week injury, that lets us know that it's not as serious as a lot of people initially feared, and Zay Flowers should be back maybe next week. It's a possibility. It's a real possibility. But again, with it being day-to-day, we'll see. John Harbaugh says Zay Flowers is going to be working as hard as he possibly can to get back. As we know, Zay Flowers want to be out there with his guys. Zay Flowers want to be out there competing with the rest of the Baltimore Ravens because he is a big part of the reason that the Baltimore Ravens are even in this position in the first place to be playing a division game at the crib. You get to play a playoff game at the crib since you won a division, and so now you're going to be going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who know you better than anybody. But Zay Flowers is cool. If you could play, hey, that'd be a nice little surprise when we see Zay Flowers at practice this week. But again, I know we're not really expecting it. So we'll just wait and see what happens. But this is great news on Zay Flowers about the severity or lack thereof when it comes to this injury. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com. And my goodness, y'all are going crazy with it. We have like a million emails, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do all of them before the game on Saturday, but we're going to try our very best. But anyway, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com. For the Team Keep It Clean patrons, if you would like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. You can send a DM directly on Patreon, or if you would like to send it in an even more unique way, you can send it to our P.O. Box. The address is down below in the description. Team Keep It Clean. Whew, it's going to be a week, but let's get into it. First question came from my guy, KingJamiee. What's up, King? He said, what's good, Ingraven? First, I want to say thank you for all you do and sending well wishes to you and your family. Hey, I appreciate that, man. He said, I'm going to get straight to it. Why is it that Lamar gets criticized for everything? Why do people compare Josh Allen with Lamar Jackson? Jackson is a GOAT, breaking numerous records, making other top QBs look average. The comparisons are definitely going to come. They were both drafted in the first round of the 2018 draft, and they're some of the best quarterbacks in the league. So the the comparisons are definitely going to be there. But I think the bigger issue is the way that they compare them and how they criticize or judge or get on Lamar Jackson for not having won a Super Bowl. And a lot of these people will prop up Josh Allen and say, oh, he's better than Lamar Jackson. But that boy ain't got no Super Bowl either. They got the same amount of trophies. But they'll push Josh Allen super high, and they'll have Lamar not super low, but they'll definitely have him lower than Josh Allen. A lot of them do. So I think that's the bigger question right there. He also said, let's think positive and get past this wild card game. Let's get it, Ravens Nation. KingJamiee signing out. Next question came from my guy, BuccoBeezy. He said, what's up, Ingraven? What's up, Bucco? He said, hope you and the family are doing well. I'm the BuccoBeezy account that's posting all of the score predictions you have seen this season in the comments section. Hey, I appreciate you doing that. Thank you, my friend. He said, I see that you sometimes tune into WWE, so I kind of had an interesting thought. There's a rookie in WWE named Tiffany Stratton. Oh, yeah, the one that just cashed in the other day. I remember. Anyway, he said, I should have kept reading. He said, who just recently cashed in her money in the bank to become the new WWE Women's Champion. Now, fans have been wanting for her to be pushed over a year, and it's finally happened. I can kind of see the same thing happening for Tez Walker on the Ravens. Do you think he has a huge boost in the offense for this playoff push? Appreciate you and all that you do. God bless. I appreciate that. I don't know. If he does, it'll be a big surprise because I don't think that's an expectation because you see how he's been involved in the offense recently. Of course, he had that touchdown catch against the Giants, but other than that, even after that, a lot of us were thinking, oh, man, could Tez Walker sort of slip in the offense now, get more of a role on the offense? And he's been out there a lot more. Not a lot, but a lot more than he had before. But we just really haven't seen anything really go his way. So it would be a surprise if he did have a big role come playoff time. Next question came from my guy, Jarvo. He said, did you hear Tyreek Hill's exit interview? He basically said he wants out of Miami. Do you think we can realistically make a play for him? You can get anything done that you really want to get done. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens are. I wouldn't be mad if they did. Because while I don't think they should add another smaller receiver, Tyreek Hill is a different kind of receiver. He is fly down the field. He would open up this offense even more, and I wouldn't be mad at it at all. So if they were to add a Tyreek Hill, that would go crazy. But I know they ain't going to because you did ask realistically. He also said, with the Dolphins out, what are the chances of the Giant coming to us to get a Super Bowl ring? And just like the Bengals, I'm out. And he talking about Calais Campbell. They will still have to release him, I believe, because his contract over? I don't know what kind of deal he signed with the Miami Dolphins. But, yeah, they would have to still release him, I believe. So could they do that in time for the playoffs? It don't look like it's going down. It don't look like it's going to happen anymore. So I gave up on it. And he also said, well, the season has come to an end, and now it's time for the Super Bowl run. Here's my post-game thoughts, and it's pretty lengthy, so subscribers, bear with me, please. Number one, shout out to Nate Wiggins for his first of many interceptions and pick sixes. Number two, shout out to the King, who also broke records on his B-Day. Shout out to Kyle Vanoy for getting his $250,000 bonus. Shout out to Adolphe Way for getting 10 sacks this season. Shout out to Super Bowl and regular season MVP Lamar Jackson for being the first QB to get over 4,000 yards passing and over 900 yards rushing in one season. More history. He said, shout out to Marlo for being the best corner in the league this season, and I don't care what nobody says. I love that. He says, 7, things that I noticed in the first half. Lamar Jackson taking lanes and coming out of them without hesitation, and hopefully this continues. That's a really, really good point. There was no hesitation from Lamar. Like, literally from the first drive, he was taking off. He said, penalties and illegal shifts are still an issue. Yeah, a lot of pre-snap penalties. He said, need to open lanes for the King. Only 8 yards in the first half, but the offense still held up. They did, and I really think they were playing. They were just toying around, but still, no excuses. He said, I saw the Ravens fans throwing a towel and said our season was over on your live stream when Zay went down. Some fans, right? Yeah, you know how it goes. He said the defense played great outside of that roughing the passer flag, which we need to clean up, especially with Mahomes in our way. Hate the fourth down call, but not too upset with it because I felt like it was a let's try this play out type of play. I agree 1,000,000%. But I liked the call. I felt like the call, both fourth down calls were perfect. It was just the execution that was off. Lamar, while he was getting hit, he overthrew Derrick Henry, and then when Mark Andrews hit him in the hands, he caught it, but then the Browns defender punched it out. Second half thoughts. He said adjustments were made in the lanes open for the King, who had 130 yards in the second half with 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson and Andrews connection is beautiful. We played with our food because we should have been able to rest our starters in the fourth. Brandon Stevens once again was targeted. Yeah, he is. One name, Michael Pierce. Nothing even needs to be said. Your whole question could have just been Michael Pierce, and that could have been it. And we could have had a whole conversation, but I get what you're saying. Anyway, he said, Zay will be missed in a wild card matchup, but we have enough to advance. I agree. He said, Flock Nation needs to apologize to Bateman because they called him all types of names when he got hit, but yet he came back and he balled out. He really did. He really did. He got whacked. Lamar set him up. Lamar got him whacked, but he came back in the game and made a big impact. He said, shout out to Zach Orr with his adjustments in the second half of the season and finally got his defense stamp on things. He really does. And shout out to John Harbaugh for not giving up on Tucker and also adjusting his play style, in my opinion. Yeah, because, I had given up on Tucker. I was like, hey, they need to bring in somebody else. They need to do something with this because something got to give. But Harbaugh's like, no, we're just going to stick with him. And they stuck with him, and it's been working so far, so that's a beautiful thing. He said, now let's see. This was before we found out we were going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. He also said, I saw a sub once, Travis Hunter. So my question for you is, would you rather get Travis Hunter or talk to the Jets about Sauce Gardner? If I had to choose between the two, I'll probably say, man, that's a good one. I'd probably say Travis Hunter. He's more of a wild card to me because you got offense and defense. I don't think they will play him on both sides. But, hey, you never know. It'll be 2025, and he'll be on somebody's team, and we'll see what they let him do. He also said, shout out to the 9 Pro Bowlers, especially with Zay Flowers being the first wide receiver to be a Pro Bowl in Ravens history and the first Ravens to have first Raven to have 1,000 yards. You can't remember. Oh, no. He wasn't the first Raven to have 1,000 yards because Hollywood definitely got that too. But yeah, as far as the first wide receiver to be selected to the Pro Bowl as a wide receiver in Ravens history, that's him. He said, big shout out to the Australian Falele for being an alternate Pro Bowler. Hopefully he gets better by this, and with this being his first time playing the guard position. That's a really, really good point. So shout out to him. He said, and also prayers up for those that were affected in the horrible event that occurred in New Orleans. That was crazy. People are just terrible, man. He said, hopefully, team keep it clean. Who live in that area are doing well. Yeah, hope so, man. Shout out to y'all, man. As Ravens fans, we know a lot about MVPs. I mean, our favorite quarterback has 2 of them, and possibly by the end of the season, he could have 3. But let me tell you about another MVP that you should know about, and that's Mando. But why is Mando the MVP? Not that you smell anything, but Mando's probably way better than whatever it is that you're using. And let me tell you why. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control. That's a long time. It's safe for your whole body. Pits, your package, your feet, and everywhere in between. And it puts a stop to odor before it even starts. You can choose from 3 different formats. There's a spray with the super easy application. There's a stick that's a familiar favorite. Then there's the cream that rubs in like lotion for those hard to reach areas. Now, I'm normally a stick guy, but why not use all 3 to be extra protected? Now, Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. Or if you want to get a last minute surprise for somebody, because it comes with the solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and it comes with 2 free products of your choice like the Mando deodorant wipes or the mini body wash. And it's free shipping, so you can't beat that. Now, luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack by using code Ingraven at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support the show and tell them that we sent you. Don't let the meat sweats get you this season. Your family and friends will thank you. Next question came from DR. He said, hey, Ingraven. Hey, DR. He said, what do you think about Derrick Henry and Justice Hill's long-term future with the Ravens? Derrick Henry, I don't think he has a long-term future with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they'll definitely keep him next year. But long-term future, I don't see that. Like, I think he could stay with the Ravens maybe another 1 or 2 years. And of course, it depends on how he's doing as well. But long-term, I don't think so. And Justice Hill, they just signed him to a 2-year contract extension, I believe. So he'll be around for a little bit longer too. So, so maybe they'll both be around for just as long as the other one is. He also said, to me, it's critical to keep these 2 backs together as they complement each other so well. Oh, they really do. They really, really, really do. He said, I think Derrick has several good years left in the tank that he would likely enjoy spending with the Ravens. Oh, yeah, the Ravens will likely enjoy him spending it with them, too. He said, that being said, how do we continue to allow Hill to grow and thrive in the system so he feels valued and doesn't take his talents elsewhere? Keep doing what you're doing. So keep doing what you're doing. Because, again, he's already signed. He already signed his contract extension this year, so he'll be around for the next couple of years, contract-wise, because, contracts don't always mean the contract, but he did sign a contract extension, so Ravens got him. So Justice Hill will be here with Derrick Henry. All his guaranteed money was in this year of the contract. Next year, there ain't really no guaranteed money in there. So he really signed a 1-year deal. It's technically a 2, but it's really a 1-year deal. So I'm sure they'll rework that whole thing to keep him around a bit longer. Next question came from BB3. He said, Ingraven, what's going on, man? What's going on, my friend? He said, hope all is well with you and the family, and I hope everyone's mental is okay. 100K this year. I'm speaking into existence now. I hope so. That would be great. That would be crazy too, but we'll see. He said, I do have a question though. I know I can't be the only Ravens fan nervous because Zay is most likely not going to play, but Yeah. A lot of us are nervous, and even if Zay did play, which I hope he does, that'd be nice. But yeah, I ain't really realistically expecting him to. It's playoffs, so yeah, be nervous because yeah, it's nerve wracking. He said, but speaking of Isaiah Likely, do you think that's who the Ravens should lean on the most in this wild card game with Zay Flowers being out? Yeah, I do. Well, not necessarily the most, but his role should definitely increase because with Isaiah Likely, like he's a tight end. And we know he used to play receiver, but I say, like, he's shifty now, man. He ain't Zay Flowers shifty, but for a big man his size, that boy is shifty. Like, he is tall, man. He is very, very tall. But to be able to be that tall and that shifty is crazy. He said, I can't forget what he did in week 1 versus the Chiefs and last season when Mark went down. For sure, exactly. He said, I know Bateman has been playing well lately, but I don't know if Bateman has a game at his best that was better than Likely at his best. Well, why don't we get both of their two best together for the playoffs? Next question came from my guy Bradley. He said, hey, Raven, what's up, Brad? He said, playoff season is here, and while I'm sure it's one of your busiest times, I can't focus on anything except our up and coming game against the Steelers. As a diehard Ravens fan, I'm completely locked in. Oh, yeah, we all are. He said, I've always been a firm believer in Lamar Jackson and in his ability to lead us to a Super Bowl. For years, we've heard narratives about Lamar not showing up in big moments, particularly in the playoffs and against Pittsburgh. What impact do you think it would have on silencing these critics if he delivers a vintage Lamar performance and shows everyone the dominant player we know him to be? It will have somewhat of an impact, and the impact that it should be bigger, but for some of those critics, it won't be enough because they'll just point at the Super Bowl and be like, he needs to get one of those. They'll be like, this is a playoff game. The Steelers are down right now. They ain't even that good of a team. Yeah, he was supposed to win this game, so it's not a big. They'll come up with something. I guarantee you they will. I guarantee you. But it's just an unfortunate part of it is what it is. He said, thanks for all the great content. And just like Pittsburgh after this Ravens win, I'm out. Next question came from Mo. He said, what's going on, Ingraven? What's up, Mo? He said, I found your channel this year traveling and trying to stay connected to my Baltimore Ravens. Hey, I appreciate that. I'm glad you found it. Thank you, man. He said, so the way these playoffs look, I like to see the Ravens go through the gauntlet. The Steelers, Bills, and Chiefs on their way to the Super Bowl to shut up the haters and prove that Baltimore and Lamar are the real deal. Wouldn't be mad at that at all because I know people like, oh, man, I hope this team loses. Oh, yeah, we do, but right, it's playoffs. So you're playing the 6 other best teams in the league. I mean, you ain't going to get to go up against all 6, but you are in there. You're in the final 7 of the best teams in your conference. So you got to go up against really, really good opponents who are built for this just like you are, who made it this far just like you did. So you got to be ready. And he said, when do you think White will take Steven's spot? Never. If he ain't take it by now, then he never will. He'll get playing time, but he's not going to take over Brandon Stevens' spot at all. He said, because Brandon Stevens keeps being a liability. Don't worry. He going to have a Flacco-type playoff run coming up. You just watch. And he said, thanks for all the updates and great content. And just like Burrow from the playoffs, I'm out. Next question came from my guy Ricky. He said, how do we keep doing this? What's up, Ingraven? Sending this email after I got home from the bank working security, and let me just tell you, the environment was unreal. He said the flock definitely showed up and out for a 2-time back-to-back AFC North champs race. I can't imagine how it was. I know it was crazy there. I know it was a bit cold and whatnot, but I know, like, being there in that environment, I know fans was going wild, man, especially how the game was going, too. He said, now, I end this with just something to think about. And just like the Browns leaving the bank with their heads held low, I'm out. Next question came from Moni. He said, what's good, Ingraven? What's up, Moni? He said, I'm from the city, bro, so you know I'm a diehard Ravens fan, and I love what you've been doing, man, for the community. Been following for a minute. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you, for real. Seriously. He said, but sorry for the long intro. I really want to talk about the elephant in the room. You think that was a long intro? Oh, boy, you should see some of the emails that we be getting. But anyway, he said, can we get over this hump and go on a run like Joe Flacco did and take care of the Steelers, Bills, and finally KC? Lamar needs a Lombardi, and I think for real this time is our year. Hashtag Ravens Nation and hashtag Team Keep It Clean. They got no choice but to, man. They really do. It's been long enough. I remember in 2018, just thinking like when the Ravens won the division, I remember because we flew up there for the last game of the season when they played the Browns on, I think it was a 4:00 game, I believe. Or was it Sunday night? No, I think it was 4:00 game. But anyway, played the Browns and that stadium was rocking. I always tell people like I have never, ever for any game that we went to, any Ravens game that we ever went to, have never felt the stadium like literally rocking the way that it was in that game. It was so crazy. But Ravens had won that game, so we flew back down here. Then we flew back up the following week for the wild card game against the Chargers. And I remember my aunt, she asked me, she's like, "Oh, who's gonna win the Super Bowl this year?" And I said, "Ravens. Why not?" But obviously it was not the Ravens that year. And then that was 2018. So then 2019, oh boy, they went crazy, and we was all thinking like, "Oh, but this is the real deal. This is that team." And of course, we know what happened then. In 2020. They got their first playoff win against the Titans, but then Lamar got concussed against the Bills. Then 2021 and 22, there was the contract negotiations. They got real ugly. And again, in my opinion, I don't know nobody or anything like that, but in my opinion, it seemed like I don't really think Lamar was really that hurt. I think he was like, "Look, y'all want to play with my money? Y'all want to play with my contract? Y'all want to pay me? Okay. Yeah, I got an injury, but I could play through it, but no thanks. You ain't paying me? Oh, you ain't playing me then either." So he said, see what life is like without me. And I think he was just really playing hardball, man. It was just really, really business. But then they got through that in 2023. He came back, got his contract. Boom, the man won an MVP. And we were the number 1 seed again. Then 2024, this year, you see what's happening. So it's just we done been through a lot. Ravens done been through a lot. And they've been close. But they keep getting closer. They keep getting closer and closer. So now it's time to just really seal the deal. Next question came from my guy Zlager. He said, "Not about the Ravens, but how true is it that Disney bought the NFL? Please tell me I'm being gullible." I ain't seen nothing about that. I mean, Disney owns ESPN and NFL plays on ESPN, but I ain't seen nothing about Disney owning on NFL. Next question came from my guy Memphis Mitch. He said, "Yo, Unc, what's good? I'm back." For the first time I left a question. You answered and I was so hyped. I don't know why, but let's get to it. The subject today. No, it's all good, man. I appreciate you even sending it in. He said, today is a big day for the Ravens, especially for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. It's a record-breaking game for Lamar. I think he goes for 3 passing touchdowns and 270 yards and breaks Aaron Rodgers' passer rating record. That ain't quite happened. Well, he got 2 out of the 3, though, so that was cool. But and he said he thought that Derrick Henry was going to go for, we would be able to get him to 2,000 rushing yards. Almost. Now, if they would have been running him a bit more in a lot of other games, especially some games where they forgot about him, then he would have got that with ease. But it's all good. It is what it is. He said, "My question is, how do you feel after the way we started off the season so badly, but came in clutch toward the end and end up winning the division?" It's been great, man. It's been great, and it's been crazy to see the Ravens just with a great turnaround. But it shows their resilience. It shows their consistency, and it just shows how hard that they work. So it's been a beautiful thing to watch. He said, "Personally, it brings a smile to my face. And another thing, I hope the Bengals do make the playoffs." Well, we saw how that ended up. "And maybe beat the Bills or the Chiefs. Burrow and Jamar Chase are the only players who have a chance besides us to beat the Bills and the Chiefs. And of course, we beat the Bengals because Lamar owns them." Sorry for making it so long, but anyway, just like whoever we face in the Super Bowl, I'm out. And he put hashtag AFC North champs. It's always funny sometimes when we get some questions that are before the game, but then we don't get a chance to answer them until afterwards, and then seeing how people felt before and how things turned out. But anyway, next question came from my guy Isaac. He said, "Hey, Ingraven, what's up, Isaac?" He said, "My last question was a little long, but now after we are the champions of the AFC North, after we get this ring with the King, what do you think Henry's future with us will be? From what I remember of his contract, all of his incentives were for this year." You are spot on, my friend. You know your stuff. He said, "Do you think he will want to go to a team that will be able to appreciate him more financially?" I'm sure the Ravens would appreciate him financially, and I think that they'll rework the deal to where he can stay for at least another year. But I think he would come try to run it back. And they try to do the whole thing all over again, and then after that, they figure it out. He also said, "I'm hoping that he stays here and El Freaky and the Kings start their own dynasty." Lamar talked about wanting a career like Tom Brady. Just a thought. Hope you and the family have an amazing week before a stressful Sunday next week. And just like Michael Pierce after that interception, I'm out.